Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. And I have Sherri Divband and Carly and Julia from Down Under. So we're going to be talking about some amazing things for children. You guys want to stay tuned and see what the future is really going to look like. We've all been dreaming about this, and these amazing women have the right plan. So Sherri, I'll turn it over to you, and let's let everybody know what we're doing here. It's be great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael, for having me back on your show. And I'm super excited to collaborate with Carly and Julia. Maybe we should start with how we know each other and how this collaboration began. Cool. So as you all know, I've been speaking about this publicly for about a year now, and my plans to open up a children's center. And I have been on your show, Michael, and Carly and Julia have an amazing show of their own. And they invited me on because they heard me talking on various platforms about the children's centers, and it was intriguing to them. And so I've been on their show probably half a dozen times at this point, I think, probably, yeah. And we've just grown a relationship with each other. And it was in one of the most recent interviews that we did. It was kind of spectacular. It was one of those aha moments where in the middle of an interview, they asked me, I don't even know what we were talking about, but I can't remember. One of them asked me about if there were angels around them or what their auric field was like. And I was like, well, actually, you guys have several angels behind you. And I got this just massive download that, oh my gosh, they are earth angels. And I know them, and we're in the same group because we're both in the 144,000. Well, the three of us are all in the 144,000. And it came to me like this massive wave. And I was like, wow, I don't think I should say this on the air. So I'll just keep it to myself. I forgot to say it at the end, because as you know, when we finished interviews, we're talking about what happened, and it literally was gone. I forgot. It came in and came out. And so I found myself thinking about them a lot the next week. And I was like, I love these girls. Like, I just felt such a bond with them, and I couldn't stop thinking about them. And I was like, I want to figure out a way to tell them, but you don't want to overstep. You're not just going to tell somebody, hey, do you know you're from Pleiades, or do you know that you're an earth angel? Because that's awkward. They didn't ask me. So I was thinking about like, how am I going to tell them this? And they'll give you their side of the story, but they were going through their own things. And I guess I was on their mind. And then we ended up talking, and it just explosions happened. And I told them about how we're in the same group, and they were really receptive and open to it. And then next thing you know, we're talking about how they want to get involved with the children, which I had no idea, because we'd never really gotten that far with the conversation. And I was like, yes, you had me at can we? And we just, this amazing, divinely guided, just like, harmonious reunification of our souls, because we know each other from outside of this place, and we're on completely different sides of the world. But I feel like I love these girls like they're my family, and I didn't understand what the reason was behind it, because we have this Zoom screen and we're talking, and it's an interview, and so it's somewhat formal, so it's hard to get informal with people, right? Yeah. And so that's kind of my very quick version of how the three of us came together, and how they have now joined with our Aramis Creative Learning team. And so before we get into the Learning Center, I want them to give their version and introduce themselves a little bit to our audience, because maybe some people in your audience, Michael, don't know who they are.
Yeah, definitely. Go for it, ladies.
Yes. Thank you, Sherri. I was going to say, first of all, thank you very much to you both, and to you, Michael, for having us on your show. We're very honored to be joining you guys today. And Michael, we have been watching you from pretty much the beginning of all this journey for us. So about 18 months, I think. Yeah. So you've gotten us through some difficult moments. I remember listening to you quite often when I go out running, and it gets me through. I feel a lot more positive and uplifted. So a thank you to start with for that.
Oh yeah, thanks. Good.
Yeah, it's great. You're doing great work, and we appreciate that. So Sherri, I think she gave a pretty good description of how it sort of came about.
And I think originally we saw Sherri on your show, Michael. Yeah. So that was the point where it clicked for us. And then we reached out to Sherri from there. And we both have been awake for a very long time. Like, we had awakenings when we were very young. It felt like, just in a nutshell, it was a pretty lonely journey down here. And we've always kind of felt that we had a bigger purpose, but didn't really know how to put that into practice necessarily in just your, normal jobs that you do when you grow up and study and all these kinds of things. But nevertheless, tried to just fit in and we performed our way through a lot because we were entertainers, and I think that really helped us sort of feeling so isolated down here in a sense. But we had awakenings very early on, and we felt dark entities that we could really tap into that, and it was very odd for us. We had to really work through that process and understand what our purpose was. And we did get told that our purpose here, I was 11 when I heard this, that I had to bring as much light to the planet as possible to offset all these dark things that were going on. And I didn't understand the levels of darkness, but I just knew it was around. So it was a very unusual kind of thing to be told at 11. But we had to kind of work our way through. It was like a maze, really. And
we did it together, really.
Yeah.
We're still doing it together, which is the beauty of all of this, that we're now, I think we always had this idea that we might work together one day, and here we are doing this. And it's the way it came about was kind of very divine, wasn't it? It was sort of just, I guess, last year, back in 2020, wasn't it? I can't remember what year we're in now, but
2020.
Obviously all of this information was coming out in the world, and it was shocking, obviously, on one level, but also because Julia and I have been awake for such a long time, there was nothing that was surprising to us, in that sense. So when all this happened, I guess it kind of gave us the time and the inclination to take another step in life and do something completely different to what we had been doing. And I don't know, we ended up just, a few things happened, we ended up starting our own YouTube channel, but I might just say very reluctantly, because we've said this on many of our shows, Michael, I know Sherri knows, but we didn't have any social media before this, even though we both had worked in media and production beforehand. It was just a choice of ours. We knew that I think that, the foundations that social media is built on obviously is completely corrupted. So we had a problem with that, and we decided we just didn't want to be a part of that if we didn't have to. But then came the time last year where we actually had to, I guess, face our fears in a sense and step up and use this platform to communicate things that we had to say, and it kind of just, it was forced upon us, really, but in a divine way at the same time. So,
but again, it was to bring light to more people, because we were doing it in our everyday lives with family and friends and old jobs that we were in.
We didn't even realize a lot of the time we were doing it, and it was just happening.
But now we were required to sort of bring it to a bigger audience, and that's what we found our purpose was. And when we saw Sherri, we immediately connected with her message, and obviously to do with the children, but also just who she was as a person, just her beauty and her empathy and her calmness, and just all the qualities that we really feel that
drawn to.
We feel drawn to in Sherri. So there was definitely a connection right from the beginning. And then every time we spoke to her in an interview, we just had a list of questions, but we just talked off the top of our heads in the end, because there was just so much to say and so much to connect with. And then, as Sherri mentioned in a recent interview, something really happened in that. We were very relaxed that day, and magic kind of happens, I think, Michael, when you're very relaxed and things just flow. So I think for me, that's what it sort of came down to in the end. It was just this moment. And then in that week, between speaking to Sherri in that interview and then speaking to her again, we kept thinking about her and discussing it, and it was like just, magic was happening behind the scenes, and it was almost like we were connecting with her telepathically, and we knew that I felt like she could you could pick it up, Sherri, that we were kind of interacting with you on some level. And then we discussed possibly working with Sherri and how we could actually make that happen. And so we wrote it down in our diary. We'll work with Sherri in America and help her develop these skills, not only because we feel like we have this amazing soul connection with her, but also because part of our childhood, being empaths and super sensitive and awake to all these dark things so early on, to have to go through that as a child was very difficult, and nobody really labeled us as anything. We just had to sort of work our way through it. But that was super difficult. Like, it was a really difficult journey. And we feel that also being a part of this project with Sherri and partnering with her is a sense of like healing the past in a way and bringing that forward into the future generations, so that people can heal from the past and then move forward and grow into the future with this amazing concept that Sherri has developed. So that really spoke to us. So we wrote this manifestation down. So we're going on a little bit long.
We'll stop it shortly, but this is how we always do our manifestations. Michael, we've mentioned it to Sherri before, but whenever we get something we talk about it a lot. We usually go to a place that there's like water or somewhere where there's nature, and we talk about things because ideas flow a lot more easy. You probably understand what we're talking about, Michael. And it just sort of, I don't know, I guess simultaneously at the time that we'd come up with this concept, we were kind of questioning what our purpose was in all of this. So in this truth community, just in general, in life, and we're saying, what is our purpose? Why have we started the channel? Where are we going with this? What are we going to do? How can we evolve? Because that's the people that we are. We're constantly evolving. And we basically put a call out to the universe. We said, God and universe, please help us understand what our purpose here is to do. And if it's meant to be on a greater sort of scale. And it responded by virtually sending us an angel. And we won't go sort of into all the details of that. Sherri knows what we're talking about here, but we will communicate a message by an angel, and this person
to give us the go ahead.
It was kind of just gave us just that little spark that we needed to approach Sherri, because we really didn't know if we should approach Sherri. We weren't sure if it was meant to be doing this or whatever. And anyway, this angel came to us and told us, sort of suggested to us to do this, and it was pretty much from there.
And it was lined up perfectly with what we wrote down with this manifestation. So
this was within a couple of days. So it's you're talking about instant manifestation these days. There's so many possibilities of that if you're tuned in, if you're not allowing yourself to be distracted out there with what's going on right now. And it's tough, but you can do it. And I guess this is one of the precise examples of doing that, instantly manifesting something that's in your highest good. So that's why we're so excited about this, because of the way it came about and the momentum that it's created since we started. So just in the past couple of weeks, Sherri, I mean, obviously the flow is it's pretty insane. Like it's been going pretty well. I mean, we couldn't really ask for much more. Just the things that have happened and developing, and the connections that we're making, that you've been making as well. And maybe you can go into a bit more of that, but that's pretty much how it came about. And I think we're all just quite emotional and excited when the idea kind of came to fruition. So Sherri, you might want to speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of different components, and they're all just coming together. And I had so many different ideas over the last year, or many years prior, that has been kind of stewing in my mind. And I feel all of them just coming together as one, which is really beautiful. I had the idea to do the cartoon series for children so that we can start introducing these ideas or things that, not ideas, the fundamentals that these children should be learning from a young age. And I was like, why wait? Let's do this now. And so I'm collaborating with some amazing people to do the cartoon series, which we now are working on episode 8 and 9. And from that, we have now the first divinely guided children's book that has just come out, and it's I'm really excited about that. And that'll be one of a series, just like the cartoons. And then we have the classes, and Michael, we talked about this. We just spent some time together in Florida. I admittedly did not ever want to create a learning center to this capacity. And if I will tell you guys, if they had been honest with me, and my guides have told me this years ago, Sherri, this is what you're going to be doing, I would have been like, no, I don't want to do it. It's too hard. It's too much work. There's too many things, because it is really hard. But it's just it's ironic because it's just slowly merged or shifted over time into something. And in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, man, you sneaky angelic realm, you've been training me and pushing me in this direction this whole time, and I didn't even realize it. And now that I'm here, like, of course I'm not going to turn my back, like I'm all in. But this is a huge endeavor. So I'm just excited that I have so many people backing me on this, because it's absolutely incredible. And so Michael, where should we go from here?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We're like all over the world here. Everyone's getting involved in this, and it's everyone's waking and finding how they're going to commit and get involved in this awakening of consciousness that we're going through. So we're all in some way, some fashion, involved with the angelic realm. So that's kind of like so anyone that's looking at this is like, is this legit? We all have the angelic realm that's like motivating us and pushing us. So it's very exciting to know that the angelic realm is on our side and trying to help humanity evolve in a very fast way. So yeah, the learning centers, when I talked with you just recently, I heard you speak, Sherri, you're exceptional in front of a group, in front of an audience. You have very good presence, very good charisma. Everyone here, I think, has good charisma. For me, that was really hard to have that charisma after being, CIA and Navy SEAL for a long time, coming out, and speaking. But it was one of the things that pushed me, because I knew that this stuff needed to get out there. We're changing. The world's changing. We can't, evolve this consciousness unless we inform people. So as communicators, it's very important that we get this message out there. So tell us a little bit about the school. Well, that's a wrong choice. It's a learning center, right? It's not even a school.
Absolutely.
So that's a big distinction right there that we can talk about.
Absolutely, Michael. And that's one of the things that I've been told repeatedly through my sessions with children, as well as just my own messages that I've channeled through my guides, is that we have to change the vocabulary, because as we know, a lot of the words have been spells casted upon the dark sides for programming. And, that's what school is. School, the intention of school is to program our children to the university level. And then from then on, they're in the system. And so we have to change the words that we use. And so I am changing it to learning centers. So we're no longer going to call them schools. They are now learning centers. We even have a joke that we're trying to reprogram ourselves. So every time we say the word school, we smack ourselves on the hand. And I had people in our workshop doing that because they thought that, oh man, this actually works. And so teachers are no longer being called teachers. They are mentors. We have no principals. They will be facilitators. This is a holistic and intuitive opportunity for learning. And that's really what the future holds, is how can we accommodate for the children? How can we create an environment for children to feel free and intuitively tap into their gifts and understand their powers and empower them and build upon it? Because every single person watching this that's an adult, no matter what your age is, you had incredible abilities as a child. And it's what happened in your childhood that turned that off. Was it your parents? Was it the teachers? Was it society? Was it other kids that bullied you? Or a collection of all of those things, and the light turns off. So we've never actually lost anything. It's always there in the background somewhere. It's like a program playing in the background. We just don't know how to access it. So my goal is to shift the trajectory of our children's future by fostering an environment where they understand what they have. They understand their powers and they never lose it. If anything, they just build upon it. They build upon their independence, their intuition, their compassion and love. We teach these classes that I'm creating there will no longer be grades. This is going to be developmental stages, and I've called it the Aramis stages of learning. And what that is, because for those of you that maybe don't know me, I'm naming these centers after my daughter Aramis, and one day I will tell everybody publicly who she is, but for her protection, I've been told not to say that just yet. But this center is for her and her legacy. That's why it's easier for me to say I'm going to take on such a big endeavor, because I know it's not about me. It's something I'm creating for her that she will one day take over, and then the world's children will benefit from it, right? So this is a huge endeavor. We need a lot of people's help, which is why we're out here talking about it, because we need the energy behind it. But the Aramis stages of learning are going to be about developmental stages. So children are going to go into these centers, and instead of being placed in age groups, and instead of being graded by pass, fail, or letter grades, all of that is gone. In my centers, there's no grades. There are no pass, fails. It's a respectful unification between the mentor and the mentee and the parent. So there's this opportunity for the children to learn from other children. So these children may be in a developmental group from 4 to 8-year-olds, and the 8-year-olds may be teaching the younger children at certain points, because children learn from children way better than they learn from adults. And so this is work. I am creating an environment where it's equal opportunity, it's equal respect, no matter if you're 4 years old or you're the mentor and you're, whatever age as an adult. There's no hierarchy in these schools. There's a zero tolerance for any of that. Bullying, hierarchy, control, power, there's none of that. If you want, I can quickly go through the stages of learning. We've called them different things. So the foundation is going to be the younger children, ages 4 till about 8. Again, these are rough guesstimates, because I'm not going to fit anybody into this bracket depending on their age, but we're going to kind of be loose about it. But the foundation is like the preschool level and going into kindergarten of how we know it. It's exposing these children to spiritual beginnings. So it's all about the spiritual beginning classes, the intuition, energy, soul, body, learning about your surroundings, your powers, all of the things like that that create the proper foundation for future learning. And then we, of course, we're going to have math and science and English and writing and reading and all of that stuff, but it's going to be relatable to real life. So, you know, how are we going to use this math in real life, what you're learning? So they're going to be relating it to real life circumstances. Then they go through the different developmental stages based on a decision between the parent, mentor, and the child. Are you ready to go on to the next developmental stage? That would be your graduation to the next, if there is such a word, level or stage. Then we have life skills, and then we have the exploring level, and then we have the apprenticeship, and we have transitioning. This is going to take the place of university. When we get to the apprenticeship, this is the teen years where they're really going to start to understand what it is that they like and what they're interested in. No more art children that are really creative and really want to do something and have a passion for art. Are they going to be forced to take chemistry? That's no longer going to happen. They are going to go into apprenticeships where they really concentrate on what it is that they want to learn and how they can best harness their skills in that area, which will then lead to the transition period, which in my mind, how I visualize it, it will take the place of universities because it will be more like trade schools. And I see us partnering with different organizations that don't exist right now. So I can't give you an example because a lot of them are going down. But let's say the future, medical industry, educational industries, technology industries, engineering industries, we will have direct communication with them, and they can have what we would refer to more now as an internship, but it will be like a university. It's a trade school. It's something in between where they will really truly understand and learn what it is that they're going to go walk into whatever job. So there's no more competition. There's no more of this pressure and this anxiety, because all these stages of learning, as they go through it, it's fun, and we're changing the tone of education. These children are going to be excited to go to these centers. They're going to be excited. They're going to collaborate. They get to decide what they're going to learn and in what level and in what intensity and how much they learn. I mean, I could talk about this for 2 hours, but I don't want to take up the whole time. So the website, we've changed it to aramiscreativelearning.com. It used to be Divinely Guided Children when that was just the spiritual component. So please use the new link because the old one is not working anymore. We're trying to have it transfer over, but for right now, it's not working. But if you go to Aramis Creative Learning Center, aramiscreativelearning.com, which Michael, I think, is going to put in the description below, you'll be able to read on the homepage our entire philosophy and the Aramis stages of learning in more detail. And if you check back frequently, I am adding almost every single day. Next, I'm going to add the class list so they can see exactly what is going to be offered in each area of the stages. So it's growing. I mean, I feel like we're building the plane as we're flying it. And that's very disconcerting for someone like myself because I have OCD and I have control issues. So this is hard for me to build the plane as I'm flying it. But this is what we have to do. And I encourage everyone to watch the Great Awakening video that I had made by an incredible person. So watch that. It gives a 2-minute kind of introduction to the Great Awakening and what the children are here to do and how they're going to contribute to this world. It's exceptional. I'm very proud of it.
Wow, it sounds like a dream. It's a dream that everyone wants to do. You know, even I want to go there.
Me too.
So, yeah. So, ladies, what do you think? How are you going to get involved, and what are your goals for this?
Oh my gosh. Well, if we haven't already explained it, we are very excited to be involved. I mean, the fact that, Sherri was saying, that the process that children are expected to go through in their normal lifetime, obviously, right from kindergarten to school, and then obviously university or some sort of higher education, that's obviously the path that we took. But, there were moments that we were feeling quite reluctant within that to do that. And, there are still things from my university degree that I'm unlearning. obviously I did like a degree in media and communication, and a lot of that was very Marxist sort of based. A lot of the research I had to do was in regards to his theories and whatnot. And so there's a lot of unlearning. I'm not saying I didn't get things out of, doing higher education. I think this is why we need a different version of this, because children do need education. We do need the simple fundamentals of math and reading and writing. I learned a great deal in my education from that, and it gave me a lot of confidence as well to take into the real world. But the fact that these schools, sorry, Sherri, not schools, learning centers, slap, are based on honesty and integrity and truth. That's where I think Julia and I really align with this. This is what we've been doing our whole life. This is how we've been presenting ourselves, in life. To everybody, and that's very, very important to us, and to be a part of a project that's the fundamentals of that are that.
And feeling like the education system as it is there's just a feeling of it's just not, it's off, like there's something not quite right that resonated with us. And it was about the fact that you can tell that these systems have, they're built in fear a lot of the time, and there's corruption and manipulation behind it all. So what we feel that we can infuse into these centers with Sherri is that it's so important for us to be infusing this energy of truth and honesty and just real purity. We feel like every child and adult should be privy to is this beauty that can come from just pure joy and ability in this life, and healing, all these things that we really stand for and stand by and practice every day of our lives. And to be doing this for children, for the futures, is so important to us. So firstly, we want to be able to infuse that energy and be behind Sherri 100% with that kind of energy, because we know how powerful that kind of vibe behind something can really take something and help something across the line and grow it maybe even more quickly than we even realize. So first of all, it's about an energy, and then
timing as well.
And timing.
Yeah.
Getting the right timing on and when to take action with these things.
Well, it could be coming at a better time because of what people are being faced with right now. A lot of parents obviously are considering or have already taken their children out of normal schooling. And we're not saying this is going to replace it, at least initially, but we're giving children and their families an option for other types of education where children can feel very inclusive. It's inspirational, it's exciting, and
I think eventually replacing it.
Eventually, I know, Sherri, that's your eventual goal, and I'm sure with a bunch of people's help we'll definitely get there, and we're very happy to be a part of that. We're hoping we can contribute a great deal to that.
Yeah, we feel that we're Sherri's right-hand women, I suppose we'll describe it as, and just being as supportive as we can, and overseeing a lot of the things in regards to the business, and helping her with all things that make up the foundations of a truthful company, and bring as many people on board as we possibly can that resonate with that type of foundation, and making sure that we get the right people, in screening people in that sort of sense, because obviously we want to build up with the right people from the ground up and do it the right way.
Characteristics of honesty, integrity, purity, as you said. So it's important for that to filter through every single aspect of these learning centers. So
and I also have a background in teaching, Michael, and dance, and classical ballet and Pilates, and sports science, and so the educational side of things, but also in media and what else?
The production side of media.
And
so I actually initially, even though I did a degree in media and communication, I actually started out in finance, which was bizarre, but that's kind of how it started. And well, I guess it started like that because I initially thought I had done like a placement for my university degree in a stockbroking firm. I did an essay on the culture of that. And then I thought, I saw all these people, and I was like, there was all these guys there, they're making heaps of money. And that's what I thought life was supposed to be about. You were supposed to go in that direction. And then as soon as I was in it, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is not me. So, eventually fast forward a couple of years, I ended up working within the media industry, which obviously is a very corrupted industry as well. But I had experience within sales and advertising, the marketing side of things, plus hosting and presenting as well. So I had an array of, experiences within that, the skills that I can bring to this. And I did, I learned a great deal being within that industry. But I'm very glad I'm out of that now, but I did learn a great deal. So I'll definitely be bringing, I guess, a lot of that sort of element, try and contribute that into the learning centers as well. So I guess between the two of us, we're covering off quite a few areas, a few industries. And I'll bring those kinds of perspectives. And also coming from a different country, a different hemisphere, that's another perspective that we can bring as well. And it's really important to have, people from all parts of the world collaborating on this, which is, I'm sure, how it's going to end up and how it's going already. So it's a big dream, I guess, of Sherri's. It's a big goal. There's a lot to do, and probably within a short time frame, really, because this is needed. Like, this is absolutely needed right now on this planet. And we're in this creation phase right now. We're seeing all this destruction that's happening, but how do you get past destruction? Well, you have to start creating. That's really the only way you're going to move through this and move forward and evolve. And that's the key goal here.
Yeah, and you brought up both of you brought up some really good points about the school system right now. The school system right now has got us where we are as a world society that's locked down. That's the school system got us here. So we need to change that. I think everyone knows that we need to change that. Well, not everyone, because there's still people going to be putting their children into that old system for a while. So this system, because I see a lot of people in the chat, oh, yes, this is what we want. We look at this as like, that's absolutely what we want. Let's start doing this right now. And I know everyone wants to get involved in this. And Sherri's been very good at picking intuitive people that are going to get involved and build courses and start this thing out. The model is ready, I think. So once we start to do that, then other people will look at this, like you're talking about, the creativity, the creation of this thing. When they see how it works, how well it works, they're like, oh, yes, let's start another one here. And then it's all over the world. So it's great. Like you're talking about, you're coming from Australia. I'm sure we'll have people coming from all over the world, to start this initially, and then maybe go back and create those new learning centers in other places. But yeah, definitely in the beginning, this is not going to replace the old system right away. Mm-hmm. There's still people that are locked in that consciousness, and that's through that educational process. So we're looking at breaking that pattern. It will be broken, and this is the way to do it.
Absolutely, Michael. I mean, I'm looking at it as an alternative education. So those that are interested and ready for it, it's going to be available for them. We talk about this in the United States a lot, but I just want other people to know, like, this is not just a United States education system that we're creating. This is worldwide. I mean, in my manifestation, I want these in every country, in every state, in every major city within this country, and every country that wants to have one of these centers. They should be everywhere. And I'm trying to manifest that they will be everywhere, but we have to start somewhere. So actually, I would love to announce something. We put a survey out a couple of weeks ago through social media outlets all over the place. And Michael's going to put the link in the description as well for those of you watching this, that you can participate if you would like. This is not a commitment. What this is a survey that if you are a grandparent or a parent and you would be interested in sending your child to these centers, if they were available in your area, you would let us know. How old are your children? How many do you have? And what area of the world that you live in is very important. So if you're in the United States, don't put the United States. Like, those I had to throw out. So if you're in the US, tell me exactly where you live, and what state at least. You don't have to tell me exactly the city. And if you're in another country, where you are, because what we're doing, this is twofold. This is showing the world, this is putting energy out into the world to show just how much interest there is and where the interest is right now, so that I can get an idea of, okay, where is this most needed right now? Who is telling me that they want these centers? And if they had them, they would send their children there. Of course, they're all going to have virtual learning, so that's not going away. So those of you panicking that you may not have a center right away, we're actually going to expand the virtual learning, which we'll talk about, and Carly and Julia are going to help me with that. But I'm trying to also show investors. Now, this is going to be a huge endeavor, and it's costing a lot of money. And so we are encouraging anybody out there that's listening to this that wants to invest, that wants to help fund this, please reach out to me directly at Sherri@intuitivewellnesscenter.com. And I would love to have a conversation with you if you're willing to donate any amount to the animation or just the centers on a smaller scale for equipment, things like that. You can go through the AramisCreativeLearning.com homepage. There's a donation link through that. But this survey is going to serve such a large purpose, because then we can show the investors, look how many families are wanting these centers in all areas of the world. So they could actually visually say, oh, wow, people actually want this, so that they can support this mission that we're trying to create. And so for fun, I wanted to tell everybody the top 5 states in the US and the top 5 countries, based on about 200 people that have filled out this survey so far. So in the United States, we have number 1 is California, number 2 is Texas, number 3 is Florida, number 4 is Washington State, wow. And number 5, which surprised me, and number 5 is Michigan. Interestingly, my top 5 I was told through Spirit to open the centers is, and I haven't changed my mind just yet, but the survey is helping me, is California, Florida, Texas, Maryland, because that's where I live for short term. We'll be moving soon, and Colorado. So it's interesting. And Colorado was number 6, by the way. So in the countries, we have Australia is by far, hands down, number 1. Canada, again, number 2, just up there with Australia. Sweden, Singapore, and Netherlands. So those are the top 5 countries. So if you are watching this and you live in a different state that I said, or a different country, fill out the survey, put your state or your country in the list here, so we can get an average of where is this wanted right now, and so that we can really plan this out, because this is not going to happen in 1 year. This is going to be in phases of 1, 5, 10, and 15 years. So this is a huge endeavor, but we're trying to focus our attention on the areas that want it the most. So if you're watching this, please fill out the survey, or if you don't have children, share it with anyone you know that has children that may be interested in something like this. And then we can see where the numbers are in a couple of weeks.
But when do you see the first one starting, actually?
Well, Michael, we did a workshop, and through Michael's remote viewing meditation that I did with him a few weeks ago, I saw a grand opening coming soon sign in March of 2022. That's where we're going, right? 22. And that would be I've decided to do more of a boutique first location in Maryland, where I live, which could accommodate DC and some of Virginia as well, because I'm in the metropolitan area, unfortunately. And so we're just to get everything going and get the foundation, that we will be moving to one of those 5 states that I mentioned very soon, within a few years, and that will have the first mega location, and that's where the hub is going to be. And then we will model the other ones off of the larger location, depending on where we go. Some of them may need to be boutiques, depending on what state we go and how much land we can get. So they're going to be boutique ones, and then they're going to be the large ones that have animals and all sorts of other opportunities with more land. So we just have to kind of see what is available to us as we start to expand.
So Carly and Julia, Australia would be perfect, because you got a lot of beautiful land down there.
Yeah,
we certainly do. Yeah. Yes, and that is in Sherri's, I guess, sort of short to mid sort of term plan, I guess, would be probably Australia would be one of the more, first sort of international locations that you would aim to do. But we will be joining Sherri, hopefully in America fairly soon, to understand the whole concept of this in real life. It's really, really important. I know we do a lot of this. We're all doing this work, on Zoom during this whole phase, but I think we can all probably vouch for this. We just want to get back to doing things in person as well. It's just
Definitely.
the connections that you can get and what you can learn in person from people. And, also your intuitive abilities are so much more heightened when you're in person. And so we have very, strong plans to come to America as soon as we can possibly do that, to be on the ground and to really get a feel for everything and help Sherri to build this from the ground up. So that's the goal. And we are praying. Everybody pray for this, because it's really, really important to get these schools off the ground. And we need all the people we can to do that.
Yes.
But what's also quite exciting is that we are going to be helping Sherri to expand her virtual classes to more of our time zones down here. So obviously Australia, New Zealand. But having said that, though, anybody can obviously join in these class times that we've got on offer. It's very hard for Sherri to do that with her teachers right now in America, and the times that they can work. It's a little awkward with our times down here. So we're going to help Sherri probably pretty soon, within the next couple of weeks, I think, start the recruitment process for that, because we need teachers for that. So Sherri can probably say how many, we're looking for. I think it's maybe half a dozen, five or six teachers or something like that. So we can offer some classes for kids, more in this kind of time zone. But having said that, teachers can apply from pretty much anywhere, as long as they're prepared to work the different hours and the different time zones, because we really are looking for the right people. I think that's fundamentally the most important thing with this school from the get-go. It's the right people to be involved. So we'll be helping Sherri with that. Did you want to say something to that, Julia?
Yeah, we'll be announcing that in a little bit more detail in a show that we'll do with Sherri coming up, Michael. So I think in the meantime, if you're interested, have a little think about it and just wait for us to speak in a little bit more depth, and then people can send their details through, and I suppose CVs and any other information we require to start the recruiting process on the virtual classes front. So that's the step right now, to sort of get this going in a virtual sense. But definitely the goal is to get ourselves to be with Sherri in person and on the ground with her, and really help build this, as Carly said, from the ground up with Sherri, and give it everything we've got.
Yeah. And please do not email me. If you're a teacher and you're interested, I'm bombarded with emails. I can't even open half of them at this point. I am so grateful that there are so many people that want to help, but I am overwhelmed with the amount of people that are emailing me for sessions. I have closed my calendar. I'm not taking on any new clients. So please save me an email asking that. I apologize. There's just one of me, and clearly I'm just doing so many different things that my head's going to explode, and I just can't take any more people on. And so I apologize for that, but we'll give you the go ahead and where to email your CVs and your qualifications in a show coming up soon. So until then, just hold tight, get your stuff together, but please don't email me. Please don't email me. So yeah.
That's what we're helping you, Sherri. That's what we're here for.
So the event that we did, Sherri, was also interesting when we did the remote view, because you saw your daughter in the future. Let's tell us about that.
You want me to share that?
Exciting. Oh yes, please do.
Oh my God. Okay. First of all, Michael is absolutely incredible at facilitating these meditations. He's really good. He has a gift because very few people can really get me that deep, that fast. And so Michael had us do a meditation where he prompted us to go to different places, do different things. And ultimately what we were doing was going into our own world. And we had some time to explore that world before we were prompted to do the next task, or whatever you call it, to remote view, where we were going to remote view. So I went into this world, which I was familiar with. I've been there before because I teach people to go to a safe space every single time they do any type of remote view or guide or attempt to communicate with their guides. So I already had one because it's mine. But what's interesting about it is that I discovered more beyond the area that I was familiar with. So I started exploring more because I had time, and I was like, oh, let me just look around. And I started, and next thing you know, there was this, with no real intention, by the way, I wasn't looking for anything in particular. And I found this gorgeous, huge, massive crystal cave. It was like a selenite cave. It was selenite. And I walked and I was like, oh my God. And I was walking through this selenite cave. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I'm walking through, and all of a sudden this woman approaches me. And she's a grown woman. I was guessing about 27, 28, way bigger, way taller than me, long, thick, dark hair, big brown eyes, a beautiful woman. And I said, hello. I introduced myself. Who are you? and she immediately, as soon as she spoke, I knew, oh my God, this is my daughter in the future, 10 years from now. And the only thing she said to me, which I wanted to cry in the middle of this conference room or hall room, whatever, with 50 other people, she said to me, she goes, Mom, we did it. And I'm gonna start crying right now. She said, Mom, we did it. Yeah, she said, we did it, Mom. And then all of a sudden she was showing me in a million flashes of the centers all over the world. I mean, I saw children in Japan, Malaysia, Canada, I mean, you name it. In Africa, these centers were everywhere, and I could hear in my ears children laughing, talking. And she goes, see, Mom, we did it. They're everywhere. And I wanted to just bawl in the middle of this room, but I had to keep my composure. And then, of course, as a mom, I was like, oh, well, what's Skylar up to? What's Jordan up to? Like my other children. And then she started to show me. And then Michael was like, okay, now you guys have to go here. And I was taken away from it. But that was so profound for me, because I literally went into the future, and my daughter Aramis said, we did it. And that made me feel this overwhelming sense of gratitude and like validation. That's the word, validation, that everything that that the world is doing to help facilitate this. Because, you know, I say it, this is something that I'm doing, but in reality, like Carly's helping me, Julia's helping me, all the thousands of parents that have reached out saying that they want this for their children, the children that are already in the classes that I'm offering right now, all the teachers that I'm working with, all the people that are helping me with this, my amazing husband, my daughter who inspired me. Like, there are so many components to all of this that in reality, this is just, you know, this is so much bigger than I think there are words to describe it. And that really was life-changing for me, Michael, when I saw that, because had I not done that with you, I may not have seen that vision. And that was really, really profound.
Yeah, I can say that, you know, when I met you in person and you started talking about this in detail, I was like, this is absolutely happening. There's no question whatsoever. So it's, and I know that Carly, you and Julia are connecting with that as well. You see it, you know, a lot of people are seeing this coming. So how do you feel about that?
Me or them?
Them. Carly and Julia.
Yeah, definitely, Michael. We've been seeing us with Sherri in person. We've been visualizing that. We've been seeing where the centers are and what they look like, and really strongly visualizing that. And almost as if, I mean, that's part of manifesting, but it's bringing it into a sense where it's already happened. So when you have that strong conviction behind something, it's pretty easy to create in a way. I mean, of course, there's all these steps along the way, and some of it can be difficult and challenging, but that's part of life and it's part of evolving. And if you are an evolving person, you're up for that challenge because you want to get to the other side of everything that's holding you back or that's blocking you. You want to reach the other side of that and really push through and create these amazing things. So, you know, I hope this also inspires other people out there that are struggling in some way. Obviously, a lot of people are struggling right now in many, many different ways and on many, many different levels, but this is a process of healing and breaking down all these barriers and all this tightness within everyone. So we can make it to this new earth and this creation. And I hope this inspires people to take action in their life in whatever they feel called to do. And on some level that maybe it's an old dream or anything. So yes, we definitely see this manifesting pretty quickly. And as I said, it's kind of acting as if it's in the now. We are already doing it. So it's a strong visual. So yeah, we've got a lot of power behind it, and we're extremely excited and so teary in that
I know.
description, Sherri. We're both like almost crying. So
yeah. No, actually, I've gotten quite emotional within, I think, most of our chats, Sherri. I'm not even really a crybaby sort of person. I keep saying it in these interviews all the time, but this whole process, but a lot of interviews have made me quite emotional. But that's, I guess, an indication that you are doing the right thing, because it's getting an emotion out of me that may not normally have come out in my previous jobs, I'm going to say lifetime, in a sense, because, you know, I feel like we're on almost the other side of what, you know, was before. And that's exactly where people are at, that are awake. And Julie and I, we always do this, finish each other's sentences. Do you want to say it? And then, okay. I was just going to say, basically, Julie and I have learned through our life that anytime we're 100% sure of something, you can make it happen. And I think only the times that we haven't been sure of things, or a little bit sort of you're wavering on something, or there's just some hesitation, that they're the times that you might struggle to actually really truly manifest something into your life, or it might come in a way that's not quite exactly what you're after, or that sort of thing. But I think when you're 100% sure and you're 100% committed, you start gathering the people to make this happen. This is what you were saying, Sherri, I think in a couple of our chats recently. It's as soon as the ball started rolling, I guess, then it just kept rolling, and people keep coming in. And that's I guess how this whole thing will be built. So
and I think also people feel so stuck at the moment, but like Carly said, when you are 100% committed to something and you really have this true belief in it, it's like you connect with it, then anything is possible. And I think people need to remember that even with all the restrictions that we're under, that's not stopping us in any way. Like, we still see the visual, we still see everything happening because we're connected to it fully. So when you connect with something fully like that through your heart, you can make anything happen despite everything that's been put on us. We still see it. So anything's possible if you're committed and it's the right thing. So
you can push past those 3D physical bridges or things that are obstacles that are in your way. That's really important to get into that right sort of headspace. And we're learning every day. We're learning new techniques and ways to do that. So
to infuse the right energy behind something is just so important. And people need to realize they have that power in themselves.
Beautiful. And everything that we create is because of that, because we're focusing on something fantastic. It's been that way my whole life. Everything I've brought into manifestations because I focused on it with no regard for negativity, because people are in the chat was like, we need to focus on what's going on now. No, this is the way you fix that. You focus on positive and the negative falls away. It always works that way. If you focus on the negative, you'll continue to have negative. If you focus on a positivity, result that we're talking about right here, right now, and manifesting, we're all believing in it. We want this. We're giving it love energy, and we're giving it a lot of good focus. It's going to happen. And that's how we leave that old world behind. We create a new one. That's the way it happens. So this is a fantastic project.
Yeah.
This is the future. Everything we've always dreamed of, all the things we've been talking about, this is how we do it. Great.
Yeah.
Sherri, you want to end it?
Yeah, just, in this quantum field of this universe, the possibilities are infinite. And if you focus your attention on what's happening right now and the worry and the fear, you are only contributing to it. And I have been saying this for over a year, and I talk about it in probably all of the books in some way rather. We're all co-creating the universe that we're in. We all are important. Every single person on this planet is important, whether you're 1 year old or you're 99 years old. We all have the ability to co-create the world that we're living in. Now, maybe it was a little bit tainted in the 3D, but we're moving into this 5D infinite reality. And so I encourage people watching this, instead of watching the news and perpetually being in fear, in that vibration and what's going on and what could happen and what isn't happening, focus your energy on what it is that you want the world to look like. What is it that you want to create? And if you don't have children and you're not interested in what we're talking about, then what do you want the medical, the healing and wellness to look like? That reality. What do you want the political arena to look like? Because I can tell you, it's not going to look anything like it looks like right now in the new world. And I know exactly what it's going to look like, but I'm not a prophet, so I'm not going to tell everybody, because then they're going to tell me I'm wrong, and I'm not interested. I've never been in the business of convincing anybody anything. So, but the point is that you focus what it is. And I encourage everybody to bring out that inner child, that part of you when you were a child, that you can visualize rainbows and butterflies and unicorns, and you can fly, and the clouds are marshmallows. That's the part of you that I want you to bring out when you're designing the new world, because there are no limitations. Because what we can create, we have no idea what that would look like. We don't even know what we're capable of. So if you're a parent, I encourage you to just visualize your children in these centers. And what do you want them to be learning? What do you want them to be learning about? Because somehow that will translate and get to some of the teachers. And next thing you know, your child is doing that exact thing. And so right now we are co-creating. What you put your energy on, what you focus your energy on, gives power to that. So focus your energy on the positive, not the negative, and we will be able to transmute this energy so much faster. And I will guarantee you that there will be more of these centers all over the world, as fast as we can even imagine. And that's why my husband always brings me down to earth, and he says, oh, Sherri, 1 the first year. And I'm like, 5 the first year. No one's going to tell me we can't do anything. And I actually have a rule in my house. When my daughter gets frustrated, or any of them, they say, I can't do this. I say, nope. And I say, you can do this. You're not allowed to say you can't. It's I can. And they're like, okay, Mom, I can. But you have to believe it, because if you don't believe in yourself, then you're not going to be able to be successful. And so we have to put it out there, even if it seems like it's unrealistic. It doesn't matter, because in the quantum field, we don't actually know what that reality looks like until we're there. So dream big. Everybody watching this, dream big, dream bigger, because it is a reality. And don't let anybody ever tell you that it's not. Nobody.
Absolutely. So it's absolutely amazing what we're all doing. We're going to create the future that we want. Carly and Julia from down under, someday soon, hopefully we all meet up here in the States, and we helped, really, because I see people in the chat and they're like, I have a ranch, I have a farm. And it's like, people are going to come forward and go, we're going to make this happen. It's going to happen really quick. So yeah, dream big. 5 in 1 year. I think we might be under broadcasting. So I think it's going to maybe 5. And once it starts, it'll be like 5, like boom, like that. And then it'll be all over the world. So, and I think the Zoom calls and stuff like that, when people start to see, what's being taught, Jedi training for real, it's going to explode. It's going to explode like overnight. Absolutely. All right, ladies, thanks so much. And I'll put all the links, everyone that's watching this, will put all the links in the description box, so you guys can hook up into this stuff and really want to take this to the next level. Dream big, and we're going to make it happen.
Yes.
Thank you, Sherri.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.